Spin within the unification model of cosmic levels. Equivalence between microcosm and macrocosm. 1. Abstract. Within the framework of the unification model of equality and equivalence between cosmic levels, a unified interpretation of spin is proposed based on the structural and dynamical identity between microcosmic and macrocosmic systems. Atoms and stellar systems are understood as homologous configurations governed by the same geometric and energetic principles. In this context, atomic nuclei and stellar cores, together with their corresponding orbital elements, electrons, neutrinos, planets, and satellites, generate coupled gravito-magnetic fields whose equilibrium defines stable orbital structures. Spin emerges as a universal rotational consequence of this gravito-magnetic interaction, constituting a fundamental property of all organized matter across cosmic scales. 2. Formation of orbital systems in the unification model. According to the unification model, all structured orbital systems, whether atomic or stellar, composed of highly dense central nuclei surrounded by orbital elements. These nuclei generate two fundamental and complementary field components. A gravitational field, centripetal in nature, acting toward the core. A magnetic, expansive, field, centrifugal in effect, originating in the core and extending outward. These fields are not independent but form a single coupled gravito-magnetic system, consistent with the principle of equivalence of forces across cosmic levels. Their apparent opposition in direction constitutes the basis of the cosmic dance, danza cosmica, in which gravitational concentration and magnetic expansion coexist in dynamic equilibrium. Within this framework, nuclear cohesion is explained as a consequence of inward gravitational action, eliminating the need for a distinct strong interaction as an independent fundamental force. Conversely, the magnetic component governs the orbital domain, structuring space through the generation of positive electromagnetic orbits, which act as stable regions for the capture and maintenance of orbital entities. The interaction between both components produces a torsional dynamic that induces rotation of the entire system. This rotation is not incidental but a necessary condition for achieving a lower energy equilibrium state between gravito-magnetic forces. 3. Electromagnetic orbits as geometric loci of equilibrium. Due to the intrinsic rotational dynamics of the system, inner regions rotate at higher angular velocities than outer regions, generating a spiral field configuration consistent with the geometric principles of the model-based harmonic structuring. Within this spiral structure, specific radial positions emerge as invariant geometric loci where dynamic equilibrium is maintained. These loci correspond to positive electromagnetic orbits, defined as stable radial distances where magnetic forces are balanced, structural stability is preserved, and the energy density contained in the system and defined by the outermost orbital remains consistent with the global cosmic requirement of the cosmos. These orbits can therefore be interpreted as equilibrium rest positions within a rotating and deformable field system, independent of the instantaneous rotational state. 4. Spin as a universal gravito-magnetic phenomenon. In the unification model, spin is defined as the global rotation of any structured system composed of a central nucleus and its associated field configuration. This rotation is generated and sustained by the antagonistic yet complementary gravito-magnetic forces. The fundamental function of spin is to establish a dynamic equilibrium of forces and energy density. Through rotation, dense matter cores reduce internal gravitational pressure while simultaneously generating spatial extension via the formation of positive electromagnetic orbits. The occupation of these orbits by satellites or orbital elements provides the necessary volumetric expansion to maintain the energy density imposed by the cosmos, ensuring equivalence with the global cosmic energy pressure. Importantly, spin is not exclusive to large-scale systems but is a universal property present at all levels of orbital organization. Thus, electrons and associated neutrino structures, atoms as complete systems, planetary bodies and their satellites, stellar systems and galactic structures, all generate their own gravito-magnetic fields and exhibit intrinsic rotational motion. This universality of spin directly reflects the central postulate of the unification model. The equality and equivalence of structure, dynamics, and laws across all cosmic levels, from microcosm to macrocosm. 5. Spin, foundations and couplings. Foundations. As previously established, spin, or rotational motion, extends throughout the entire orbital system, involving not only the nucleus but also the surrounding gravitational and magnetic fields. This global rotation induces the emergence of a polar direction, north-south, and leads to a preferential distribution of orbitals along the equatorial plane, thereby ensuring a more uniform and dynamically stable equilibrium, analogous to the structure observed in a tornado. Within the framework of classical physics and the present unification model, spin and its associated polarity arising from rotation are identified as the magnetic bipolarity of orbital systems. This interpretation differs fundamentally from that of quantum mechanics, where spin is represented as a single mathematical vector with discrete values, typically up +1 and down -1. In contrast, within this model, the notions of up and down have no physical meaning in the cosmos. Instead, spin represents an intrinsic bipolar structuring of each system, enabling interaction with other systems, whether through attraction, aggregation, or the formation of increasingly complex spatial structures. It is precisely this bipolarity that allows for the construction of stable structures across scales, from molecules and macromolecules at the atomic level to multiple star systems at the stellar level. Couplings. For orbital systems such as atoms to approach and bind, they must utilize their polarity to attract, align, and ultimately couple with one another. This occurs because, for the gravito-magnetic fields of atoms to rotate coherently, as illustrated in the corresponding schematic, they must share the same rotational direction and comparable angular velocities. Under such conditions, their fields can merge with minimal dynamical discrepancy, facilitating stable coupling. Conversely, if two atoms attempt to approach from nonpolar orientations, their rotating fields will collide, leading to mutual repulsion or, at best, forcing them to remain at a distance insufficient for the formation of stable atomic or molecular structures.